So get this. What if the solution to one of our biggest modern health crises isn't in some new pill, but was already inside of us? Today, we're diving into a pretty radical new approach to metabolic syndrome. We're going to look past the symptoms and go straight to the source, our gut. And look, this is not some small niche issue. We're talking about metabolic syndrome affecting a huge chunk of the global population, somewhere between 14 and 34%. That's roughly 1 in every 3 adults dealing with a cluster of conditions that puts their long-term health at serious risk. And this is the core idea we're really going to unpack today. What if we could move beyond this endless cycle of pills and fad diets and explore how just rebalancing an internal ecosystem could be the key? But okay, before we get to the solution, let's be super clear about the threat. What exactly is metabolic syndrome and why do people call it such a silent danger? Here's the deal. Metabolic syndrome, which you might also hear called Syndrome X, isn't really a single disease. It's more like a group of risk factors all showing up together. When you have 3 or more of these conditions, we're talking high blood sugar, extra body fat around the waist, high blood pressure, that's when you're diagnosed with MetS. And this is exactly why it's so critical to address. Having metabolic syndrome just sends your risk for other severe health problems through the roof. I mean, we're talking a 5-fold increase in your chances of developing type 2 diabetes and tripling your risk for heart disease. It's like a cascade of potential complications. The problem is, the way we usually treat this is by targeting these symptoms one by one. You know, one pill for blood pressure, another one for cholesterol, a third for blood sugar. It's literally like playing a game of medical whack-a-mole. And this approach, it doesn't just fail to get to the root of the problem, it can lead to a lifetime of taking a ton of different drugs, with all the risks that come with that. So if just chasing symptoms is a losing game, where do we turn? Well, it turns out the answer lies in a pretty unexpected place, our gut. Now, this is where things get really fascinating. Researchers are now calling our gut microbiota, that's the trillions of bacteria living in our gut, a virtual endocrine organ. So what does that even mean? It means it's not just passively digesting food. No, it's an active chemical factory, cranking out hormones and signals that regulate our energy and our immune system, basically acting like the other glands in our body. It's like a central command center for our metabolic health. And when that command center gets all out of whack, there's a name for it: dysbiosis. And this right here is the core problem. It's an imbalance where you lose the variety of good bacteria, and the more harmful ones start to take over. And this is way more than just a digestive issue. We now understand it's a key driver of metabolic syndrome. You can just see the ripple effect here. An unhealthy gut can lead to a leaky gut barrier, which allows toxins to get into the bloodstream. This kicks off inflammation and totally messes up the communication between critical pathways, like the gut-brain axis, which affects how full you feel, and the gut-liver axis, which impacts fat storage and blood sugar. You see, it connects everything. So, if gut dysbiosis is the problem, how do we fix it? Well, this brings us to the good part, the solution, a powerful toolkit known as the 3 biotics. I really love this analogy because it makes it all so clear. Just think of your gut like a garden. Prebiotics are the fertilizer. They're the food that nourishes the good bacteria you already have. Probiotics are the seeds. They introduce new beneficial microorganisms. And postbiotics? Well, they're the harvest, all the amazing beneficial compounds that are produced by the good bacteria, which directly benefit our health. And hey, this isn't some abstract science project. We can find these biotics in foods we eat every day. You know, prebiotics are in things like vegetables and grains, while probiotics are in fermented foods like yogurt and kefir. It makes the whole solution feel really accessible, right? So just to recap, because this part's really important, prebiotics feed the good guys. Probiotics are the good guys, and postbiotics are the beneficial compounds that the good guys produce. We're talking things like vitamins, enzymes, and especially these powerhouses called short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs for short. Okay, so we've got our toolkit. Now let's look at exactly how these 3 biotics work together to help restore our metabolic balance. It really boils down to 3 main jobs. First, they help rebalance our metabolic signals, like the hormones that tell our brain that we're full. Second, they reinforce the gut barrier, keeping it strong and preventing that leaky gut that lets toxins through. And third, they help calm down systemic inflammation, which is a major underlying factor in almost every chronic disease. Now, what's really interesting is this growing focus on postbiotics. See, probiotics are great, but they're alive, which means they can have trouble surviving stomach acid and might not be safe for people with compromised immune systems. Postbiotics, since they're the inanimate compounds, they just bypass all those issues. They're stable, they're predictable, and they carry no risk of infection, which makes them a really exciting new frontier in this field.
So, you see, this research isn't just about gut health. It's really pointing toward a whole new era of medicine, one that can finally move beyond that one-size-fits-all approach.
But we're not quite there yet. A big hurdle right now is what researchers call the responder versus non-responder phenomenon. The same prebiotic or probiotic can have a huge effect on one person and almost no effect on another. And why is that? Well, because the success of it all depends entirely on the unique microbial garden you already have inside you. And this is exactly what's driving the future of medicine. We're moving towards precision, personalized interventions. Just imagine a future where treatments are tailored to your specific gut microbiome profile, using smart formulas that pair the right fertilizer with the right seeds for your own unique inner garden. So, the crucial point is this. Instead of chasing down individual symptoms, biopriotics offer a way to address the actual root cause, that microbial imbalance that's driving the entire syndrome in the first place. It's a holistic, much more integrated strategy. And that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. We track our blood pressure, our cholesterol, our weight. But as we learn more and more, is it possible that the most important health metric of all will be the profile of the trillions of microbes living inside of us? Something to think about.